I've made over $400 million online, and clients paid $10,000 to come to this specific event, and you are getting it for free because I want you to become a paying client of mine someday when you find value in this video. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps that you need to build, scale, and get your e-commerce brand to $1 million and beyond, even if you're a 9-to-5 professional. So let's get into it. I created this presentation to provide clarity on making the path to 7 figures easy, and also to answer some of the questions that have been asked in the group and by Ahmad based on difficulties that everybody is facing, and to just make sure the whole process is streamlined. So we're going to it real quick. And this was created in assumption that some don't have their product selected yet, some already have the product selected, but we're just going over it. Now the first phase is market research and product selection. How do you select the products for you to sell? High growth niches with passionate buyers and oversaturated. Now most people are always saying like saturation, saturation, saturation. When someone tells me saturation, a market is saturated, this is all that comes to mind, right? This is the market. One thing it speaks to me is this is a vault. When you go to a bank, there's always a vault. But what's in a vault? So if someone is saying this market is saturated, that shows that obviously there are people who are spending money. What you now want to do for yourself is to carve little market of markets. You have a supplement. How will you separate yourself from every other person? You can create a market of markets, and I would explain. Right? You can solve problems since it is a brain food, right? You can solve it for high achievers. You can solve it for athletes. You can solve it for widowers. When someone is in grief, their brain functions less. Are we always going to have people who lose their partners? Yes. That's a market within a market. And the angle you sell the product is what will separate you from every other person who is in the market. And the experience you deliver to the people will determine how much money you can charge for the market. And I'll give you an example. When you mention Lamborghini as a brand, what comes to mind?
Exclusivity.
Good. You think of cars. Crazy enough, we have Lamborghini yachts now. Why will they foray from automotives into yachts? Premium positioning. Who will buy yachts? Ultra high net worth individuals. So now they are switching the angle of their brand from just being, hey, we're here to deliver you supercars, to hey, we could actually deliver you something more than that, yachts. So in every market, there will always be people that will spend money with you. But if you can solve a problem that is much more relevant to a one-of-one. When most people are trying to sell, they are trying to sell to 2, 3, or 4 people at once with one product. The people who make the most money do this, premium positioning. They position a product that sells to one, but they look for multiples of one.
What do you mean by multiples of one?
One person exists, but there will always be people who have or exhibit the same characteristics of that one person. But their product speaks to just that one person. They're not trying to sell to this, and this. They're selling to this person, but people who exhibit same characteristics, who love the same thing that this person wants.
So there's one demographic, but there's plenty.
Plenty of them, yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Does it mean that the same product can cater to, when you say one of one, what comes to mind is different angle or perspectives by which you can sell the same product?
Yep. Now, if, for example, we decide to sell brain food to widowers, there are young widowers who like to do things outside of the norms, right? Then there are middle-aged widowers who are not interested in remarrying again, but they want to function in their business. They want to be able to take care of their family, right? And then there is the elderly widowers, like these people are 80 plus and above. That's his love of his life. He's not interested in getting married, but he still wants his cognitive abilities to be able to take care of his grandchildren and all of that, right? So he's not driven by money or any of that, but driven by familial love. It's still widowers. And then your profitability. If you're selling something, you should at least have 50 to 30% of your money as profit margin. Why do I say this? Because ecom and olds or reserves are synonymous. You must always anticipate, you must always plan for that. That, oh yeah, you know, my payment provider might decide to owe 25% of our money. What if that 25% is all your profit margin? Then you're fucked. Because do not forget that aside your profit margin, you're paying for logistics, you're paying for your operational expenses, like your staff, software, right? And then you still have your own salary to pay yourself. So you don't want to be one of those who has a brand, but you're in shackles. You still want to be able to do the things that you enjoy doing when you're selling. Let's move to the next slide. Now, your product logistics, right? You need to sell products that are light and easy to ship. Because with logistics, you pay per kg. The weight of your product will determine how much money you spend on logistics, right? And then you also need to select items that can be branded well to justify premium positioning and premium pricing. There are products that they have intrinsic value, and then there are products that have extrinsic values. Intrinsic value is, okay, yeah, when you have to explain the value of this product. Extrinsic value are products that once you see it, you can instantly assume that, oh yeah, you know, I can sell this thing for more, right? And I'll give you an example. One industry that is always going to stay profitable is jewelry, eyewear, and leather products. These three industries will always be profitable. Now, do not get me wrong, beauty, everything will still be profitable, but if we're looking at extrinsic value, these are products you don't have to justify the value. They already command value, right? Now, like a watch, you see a watch, you think it takes more effort to produce, and it's going to definitely cost more. Eyewear, why do I say it is valuable? No one wears a $400 eyewear and it breaks and goes, it's fine. They immediately want to replace it, they want to buy it. That increases frequency of purchase and also increases how much. But the profit margins are also higher. Leather products, always going to be in demand. If you sell leather jackets to bikers, if you're a biker, you know how much you spend on buying a leather jacket that's protective for when you go riding. People will spend $1,000 on a jacket. When someone wears even 4 products, but like that's I don't like the clothing niche. It's like very, very razor thin margins, or it's too competitive. I don't like going into places where I can't really win. But if you wear a 4 jacket, people will know how much effort goes into it. So extrinsic, you don't have to explain the value of the product. People assume this is the value of the product. And then when you wear 4 leather, people are like, nah, this person is cheap. Even if that 4 leather costs more, like they don't give a shit. But once they see real leather, they know, yeah, this thing is something that they want to buy. Now, if I have if I have a watch brand, anyone who buys a watch is most likely going to always buy a watch. Watch collectors will always keep watches. That's extrinsic value. Now, intrinsic value is, oh yeah, you know, this product is this, but I also still have to explain the value that is associated with it. What should I use as an example? A PC can do multiple things, right? But the value it has to you is different from the value that it has to me. It has utility. Now, how will you position this PC over this PC is based on how you perceive it. Someone who will buy a Dell laptop is not the same person that will buy an Apple MacBook, or someone who will buy a Razer gaming pad. The value is based on that which I think it is worth. So you can come to market with it for $500, but if I disagree with it and I say it is $300, there's really not much markup there or profitability there, because this person's value of it negates the value that I am putting on it, right? So it doesn't really make any sense. I wouldn't sell products that I can't say, okay, it has a value that I think it has and a value that the market thinks it controls. As long as the value I think my product has aligns with the value that the market will gladly pay money for, I'm good to sell that product, right? Then low MOQ. This is very, very important, especially when you're, yeah?
But then I was reading that, but with the low MOQ, is this based on you holding the goods, or is this based on dropshipping?
No, holding in goods. Like dropship, bro, I don't give a shit about dropshipping because there's too, how do I put it? There's too much moving variables that you think of, and profit margins are always higher because there's always someone who want to sell for lower. So it's a bargain with the devil. It doesn't make any sense. But with building a brand too, you're keeping stock, but you also want to make sure that you're getting the best margins possible on your product that you're selling. Like, I'll give you an example. If this manufacturer says something is $100, but you're going to get, let's say, 100 pieces, that means you need to have 10K to stock up $100, right? Like well, it also depends on the quality. But let's assume all things being equal, the quality is great, it is this, then, but you can find that same quality for $45 now for the same 100 pieces. So now literally you have $4,500 that you're using to keep stock. Which would you rather go for?
45.
Exactly.
But then what's the difference between the two?
The price per MOQ also matters. Like if you want to now spend more, if you want to spend more money.
They're both 100 MOQ.
Yeah, this is 100. I'm talking about the price first. Then you can also have like what's it called? Another manufacturer who tells you that, yeah, you know what, it's going to cost you maybe $42 for 1,000 piece. Now you're spending 42 cents. No, my stomach is. We're spending 42 cents to acquire 1,000 pieces. So when you go to each manufacturer or supplier, you want to ask like how much per piece, because that helps you determine how much you're taking this thing to market plus your markup price, right? Your MOQ is the minimum order quantity.
I didn't get that.
It's the minimum order quantity, like this. How much products a manufacturer is willing to sell to you for a stipulated price, right? I'm just using this as variance, right? In the beginning, you're going to talk to multiple manufacturers, but you want to get the best deal in the market, and then fast fulfillment. However, that's one thing that most people get wrong. Because this manufacturer is selling to you for cheap, doesn't mean they can deliver it faster to your customer.
But then the question is that, so is what's happening is that the supplier is buying the goods and holding the stock and then shipping it, or is it which way is it?
That's what I'm coming to now.
Okay.
So this person could have, because 3PL, this person could have, okay, let's just use this one. This one charges you 10K, right? But it is a US fulfillment chain that they have, which means within 2 days, it can arrive at the doorstep of your customer, because they could just get it like within 24 hours to your own warehouse, and then within 24 hours after that to your customer, right? This person could have it in Switzerland, right? And it will take 72 hours to get to your customer. Now this one, which is cheaper, obviously,
So
would take
does it
you.
have to go to Switzerland before it goes to the US, or is it? Or what do you mean
No,
by Switzerland?
like their own warehouse
Or is it
is
based
in
in
Switzerland,
Okay, got you.
and now it will go to the USA, which is to your own warehouse before it then goes to the customer, right? So a lot of things has to go into how you think about who you decide to go with when it comes to like your supplier, right? Which is why when you're asking what's their minimum order quantity, you also want to ask where are they keeping stock, and then do they have partners that can deliver the same product. And also you want to know how much is their inventory, like how much inventory are they holding? Because if you were to spend a lot of money to acquire leads, and then boom, you acquire that amount of leads, but they can't fulfill, now you have to refund. Do you get my point?
Yeah, but in my own case now,
Yeah.
whereby we are using
Supplyful. Yeah.
They hold the
Stock in USA.
inventory in USA.
They are always formulating labs and formulating partners since you're dealing with brain products, supplements, right? Supplyful is also getting it from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Like, okay, if you can find formulating partners that can also deliver and integrate with your Shopify. If anyone remembers, there was a time where there was Ali Sheep and Sheepbob, Sheepbob. And then I'm trying to remember, like, this was like back in the days, but you can order for something in China, they'll help you find a supplier within a specific space, and then boom, they'll deliver it to your customers. So, but I would not say you should rely on one means of fulfillment for too long. You want to always have like different distribution channels that you can use to get your stuff before your customers. And yeah, fast fulfillment. We've covered this. Product logistics. Okay, I've covered this. Now, your business model and positioning. You want to decide between DTC, Shopify, Amazon, or hybrid models like TikTok Shop and Shopify, right? Like the products that you're selling. Obviously, for some of you, you're not in the USA, so you can't really use Shopify. You can use TikTok Shop and Shopify, which I'm also still covering within this slide. Now, you need to determine your unique selling proposition. Is it superior quality, luxury positioning, or a compelling brand story? I always say that if you can tell the best story, you would win in the market, even if you don't have the best quality in the market. Because if people are sold on who you are and what you sell, they don't give a shit about that, right? So the issue most people face is this. In this market, anything to everybody, right? So they command less money. The issue with most people is they go for this market, whereas this is the best market to be in. You can justify how much money you charge when you are everything to someone versus being anything to everybody. And for that to happen, if you can tell a very, very compelling brand story, I mean, like growing up, everybody knows the story of David and Goliath, the turtle and the hare, right? Like the turtle and the hare, or the tortoise and the rabbit, whichever way. Like stories stick, numbers don't. Can you remember what happened or what you ate 6 months ago? But I'm sure you guys can remember one person that pissed you off 6 months ago. Why? Because your emotions were heightened. So if you can find a way to heighten people's emotions, which is when you define your brand's theme, values, and emotional triggers, you're going to connect more with someone, and then you can charge more.
What we used to say is the best form of disseminating your brand story.
Yeah, I actually created a content deck for you guys that will make it easier for you that every time you come up with content for your brand, it's easy. And it's a slide I will share with you. Shock and awe, status triggers, deep emotional pain and aspirational content, then flexing without trying, right? Like product performance tests in extreme scenarios. Now, like what happens if I put this through this ridiculous challenge? There's someone on YouTube, I'm trying to remember his name, who wanted to test different cognitive enhancing products. What's the common one? I think zinc or zin that these guys always take. Nicotine and all of that. Yeah. So he took different brands and tested how each allows him function. Mm-hmm. And he made the video. The video got 3 million views on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It was just like, I want to see which one conveys the biggest meaning. Now that is like extreme, digging into the extreme. Because everybody is going to be like, okay, they want to be involved in the process to know how does this work, right? So people are addicted to curiosity and sensory experience. So you have to look at how can I make people feel. But what are you trying to make them feel? Shock or in awe, right? Now there's status triggers, like showcasing people who already have what your audience wants as the ideal stuff. So even if you're not going to look for like a crazy celebrity or all of that, let's say you want to sell to skaters. Skaters need to constantly be focused for them to be able to perform stunts, right? Find a local skater, which you said you found, and then showcase how it helps him stay focused and during his stunt performances, and boom, now anyone who wants to skate and feel dialed in, they want to feel like the guy. right? Look at the movie Limitless. They literally tried to embody someone taking a pill for them to become successful, right? So it's how trying to reenact stuff like that that appeals to the masses but calls out your ideal audience, right? Then there's the deep and emotional pain and aspiration. So instead of just telling the people that, hey, here's the product, like, okay, I spent this time perfecting this, but because of this. It has to be in a repeatable format. So you have these content pillars. That's why I created this. And then flexing without flexing, without trying. Subtle flexing that triggers aspirational envy, right? Like, you're an accomplished man, whether people would like to admit it or not. You've done so many stuff that anyone who knows will be like, oh shit, like, it's cool. So tie that back to your journey too. Like, okay, yeah, I decided I wanted to create this because I want to make it easier for you to be in this position that I'm in, right? Or someone else, like, but conveying the value through your content makes people go. If you look at Phoenix watches, like, everything on the page is not accidental. Literally everything on the page is watches and supercars. So you go, oh yeah, you know, I need to feel accomplished for me to buy this, right? So it's something that once someone sees, and then the next series of content I'm about to roll out is I'll just approach random strangers and be like, hey, how much do you think this watch is worth? Get the feedback of that and then post it. It will make other people engage and interact with the content because they want to say, oh no, there are people that are saying it looks like a fake hippie. There are people that, you know, like, but they are talking, right? So stuff that makes people want to be involved in the conversation, stuff that makes people go, oh shit, I didn't think about it that way, right? Like, there are women who are entrepreneurs or who are 9-to-5ers, but are also mothers. And most times I've seen women say they feel forgotten because they are trying to shuffle between each identity that they have, being a mother, being a wife, and then working at their job and all of that, right? So if your product can be tied into, hey, you can still feel accomplished with what you're doing, despite all these other identities that you have, then this is something you should buy into. But it needs to be tied to an end goal, and your product is seen as the messiah that gets them to that end goal. Your product should be the Moses that walks the Israelites through the Red Sea.
Is there any way you zone in on what emotions that you exactly want to trigger?
Yeah.
On
the content, yes. If I want you to be enraged right now, I know the emotions I'll trigger. Right? Like, I had a video, which is funny enough, one of my most performing videos on my Instagram page, which I said I don't talk money or numbers with anyone who makes less than $450,000 a year. That video got over 1 million views. It's so triggering because when you look through the whole comments, people are trying to justify it, like, oh yeah, but it's like, I'm like, if I'm talking about certain things, if you make less than 450K a year, you wouldn't understand. So why are you involved in the conversation? Right? So when you look at it from that perspective, you know that, hey, you're human. Humans from here till China are the same. There are things that everybody universally will look at and they will laugh. And then there are things that everybody universally will look at and they'll just be like, are you fucking stupid? But the worst thing you want to do to your brand is to be neutral. You don't want to be on the fence. You're either here or here. But to sit behind the scenes, you're going to be forgotten, right? So yeah, anyways, let's go back to... So yeah, marketing and customer acquisition, organic traffic, right? You want to leverage TikTok Reels and Shorts for free organic reach. I know of someone who uses YouTube Shorts to get over 100 million views every month for free organic reach. But the good thing is, on the landing page of their product, they have Google Tag Analytics. So it shows you where everybody's been driven from, right? And then influencer partnerships. You want to collaborate with influencers for initial sales instead of paid ads, if you can. And when I say influencers, I don't mean someone who has 1 million followers. Someone can have 1 million followers and they can't influence shit, right? Like, it's true. Like, but if you can find someone who has a core targeted audience of 1,000 and they will listen to whatever they say, they'll bring you more money than someone who has like 500K or 1 million. So I always look for people who have like 1,000 to 50,000 followers, because that's also when your engagement is highest, the most. If you go on Flanks or socialblade.com and you check average engagement rates of people who have more than 100,000 followers, the higher your audience is, the lower your engagement is. So UGC content, yes. So you want to use UGC content to drive engagement and trust for the products that you sell. The more, like once you get 30, 50 customers, give them an incentive for them to give you videos of themselves using your product in exchange for coming back to shop for stock credit, right? And then retargeting, you want to have that in place. Use emails to convert abandoned carts and retain customers, right? Also, like your ads do that. Now, this is very, very important. Your key marketing metrics. Any other thing outside of this is bullshit. I don't care how much you're spending for clicks. I don't care how much you're spending for 1,000 impressions. I don't care how much you're spending to get them to your landing page. These are the 3 most important marketing metrics you must understand. How much is it costing you to acquire each customer that you're getting? What's your average order value? How much are they spending with you on average, right? Like everybody who comes to you, as long as your CPA is lower than your AOV, you will always be profitable. Because if it costs you maybe $40 to acquire a customer, but your customer spends $500 with you, on average, like you could go ahead and spend that $500, right? And I always try to get at least 2.5 ROAS, return on ad spend. If I can get 2.5, if I know that, yeah, I spend 100K, I'll get 250K back, I'll go ahead and spend the 100K. But you must at least get 2.5%. And then, yes, this, most people ignore this. Always like, oh yeah, your operations is very, very important and will determine if you're going to be scalable or not, right? You don't want to create a decorated jail for yourself when it comes to your business. So, operations and scalability, your automation. You have to find a way to automate other fulfillment without holding excess inventory. Yeah, fulfillment, consider third-party logistics or dropshipping from suppliers. Now, obviously, I don't dropship, so I'm not going to say you should go ahead and dropship. But your suppliers can also deliver your stuff for you if need be. Scaling systems, you need to put...
Sorry,
yeah.
How do you automate without holding excess inventory? That was the main thing that I thought about when you talk about ordering stock into a warehouse. How do you what's the word I'm looking for?
An example of that is the drop model. I use the drop model, which means,
But then you're not a fan of the drop model?
not drop shipping. Drop model is different from drop shipping.
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
Drop model is I get maybe like 1,000 people on my wait list, and then I sell something for like sell 200 pieces per every time that I open the cart. I'm not holding excess inventory, right? And people are still on the man ready to buy. I'll give you, before you ask a question, I'll give you an example. We do 1,200 pieces per year with my watch brand, and we have 400,000 people on the wait list. So I don't need to order for 400,000 people. I just order 1,200 pieces, and I know that I'll still be able to sell out of my inventory.
But then, are you not limiting on how much items you can sell?
No, I'm not. The items I am selling is specific, but it's also to drive up demand. I can increase eventually, but in the beginning phase, like, do not forget that this is to 7 figures. The whole presentation right now is like, okay, yeah, how to get to 7 figures. Once you're at 7 figures, you can always increase. Like, my plan is for my brand within the next 4 years is only when I'll increase production, and it's only going to be 20% increase after every 4 years. So that drives up the value. I mean, like, Lamborghini could decide they don't want to, okay, I want to buy a Murcielago, right? And it's only one of 2 in the world, but it's out of a production of 100.
But then the difference between that is how many different other models that Lamborghini sell as well.
Yeah, but that's when you get to product expansion phase. You can always expand your product.
This is just basically the starting phase.
Yeah, this is the phase where you're like, okay, what trajectory do I have to get to 7 figures. Once you get to 7 figures, you want to get to 8 figures. Yeah, you can always expand product line. You can always expand variants of the products that you're selling, right? But in the beginning, you don't need to overcomplicate the process.
So basically, it's all about driving the demand as opposed
Yeah,
to selling yourself short.
Yeah, drive as much demand, because do not forget, you control the narrative. If you control the narrative and you control the handle of everything from the beginning, you can now charge more, which is why I said everything to someone instead of being anything to everyone.
Got you. Now I understand that saying.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, and then customer service. The experience that people have with you is very, very crucial in determining if you're going to get customers to keep coming to buy versus them leaving. Now, cash flow, very, very important. Most people, I'll give you this document, so don't worry. Yeah, customer service and then scaling systems. Then cash flow and profitability. You need to have a way for you to break even, right? Which is why I say you should always make sure 2.5% ROAS, right? And then your profit margins are high too, which is where your average order value comes into play. So you must aim to break even and reinvest profits quickly. Do not eat your fruits early, or do not eat your seeds early. You want to make sure that you reinvest into the business, because it's e-commerce, right? Like stock, the more you can get more money to spend on ads, the more you can spend more money on, like your operations and systems, the easier. Now, you want to make sure that you are recouping your ad spend within 30 days. It's not that, you spend $1,000 and you're waiting for the next 60 days before you can recoup your $1,000. No. You want to be able to recoup it, right? Now, once you've started ordering from your manufacturers and you've built that initial trust, ask them, negotiate for net 30 or net 60. Net 30 means you pay after 30 days of ordering for the product. Net 60 means you pay after 60 days of ordering for the product. But they know that because you're ordering in volume, you're still going to come back to buy.
So that can only be done after you've established like
Trust.
a steady buy, steady buy with them.
Yes.
Because I noticed like I was testing my payment checkout, right? So I noticed like they charged the card I initially connected to their store, like almost immediately. So I was just thinking in my mind, like, okay, let's say I have 5,000 orders now. Are they going to keep like charging my card? What if I don't have as much money in the card as the orders coming in?
Yeah,
what does that mean? Does it mean my orders will be declined?
No, you can also discuss with them to create a buffer time. Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, hey, this is the amount of inventory or orders I'm expecting, but we do not have the cash flow in hand right now. There's like a script you can send to them, which is, especially when you're anticipating olds, because you are expecting more volume. So if you go from selling 5,000 units in a month to now you're about to sell 5,000 units in a week, you should have informed your supplier ahead of time that potentially we could face a hold, but please, do not stop this transaction from going through because we do not have the sufficient funds to fulfill it. We will provide that fund after the sale. That builds trust because now you're informing them ahead of time. But if they charge your card and it bounces the first time, they charge it again, it bounces the third time and the second time, and you've not informed them, they might decline the transaction, right? And then pricing strategy, like I said, profits is all that counts. I'm not one of those gurus that'll tell you, $1 million, but it's maybe like 100,000 of it that is profit. No, I'd rather have a business where I'm running at, I'd rather have a business that I'm running and makes 250K in a month and 130K is profit. That is money that goes into my bank account after I've reinvested into product and everything. Than for me to have a business that does 3 million in a month and I only keep 300K. Because the overhead of doing this is way too much, it's too complicated versus doing this, right? So everybody decides the kind of business they want to run. I want something that is giving me my lifestyle freedom, right? I'm not trying to like create another high-paying job for myself. I'm not interested in the bogus numbers when the profit is very, very thin, right? So that's what I'd rather do. And then this is the phase one of your execution plan. Winning product that you've gotten, which is like your angle for selling and all of that. Strong brand in place. Week 3, launching on Shopify. Then you begin organic content, which I will share with you, the content plan. Then phase 2, which is this, the first 2 weeks, weeks 5 and week 6, you spend on optimizing conversions and refining your branding based on initial feedback. Then 7 and 8, which I said to Frank earlier, introduce subscription or upsell models to increase average order value. It's very, very important that you find a way to constantly sell to people when they buy from you, than spend once, now go and find new customers. Then weeks 9 to 10, launch micro-influencer campaigns and affiliate partnerships. Like, this is very, very important. If you can find influencers within people who have already bought from you, even better. That's where brand ambassadors come into play, right? And then weeks 11 to 12, invest 5K in ads after proving concept organically. So you spend time on doing your content. You see what content works the best that you can use as an ad, which an example is the content that I sent into the group. Got 76 million views. If it works that much organically, then boom, like create lookalike audience of that. Oh, we've already covered it before you heard. But lookalike audience of that, custom audiences, and then just target the fuck out of it with 5K, right? It will definitely work. And then phase 3, month 4, refine your ad creative, kill the ad creative that isn't working, scale the ads creative that are working, then test new ad channels. This is now something that is very, very important. Most people will exhaust their audience on just Facebook without testing like TikTok, Google Display Network, and YouTube. Once it is working, if it is working on shorts, if it is working on shorts on YouTube, it will work on TikTok. It might just be like the hook that you may need to change, or the middle of the body of the creative, but it will work. Then partner with high-level influencers for increased credibility. That explains itself. Then expand product line, which you talked about, and increase. So, but expanding product line here is vertical. So if I'm selling pillowcases and all of that, I'll sell nose strips or mouth tapes, which still enhances the sleep of the person who buys from me, but still bumps up the average order value of what I'm selling, right? So it's something that still serves or complements that which you're selling. Now, phase 4 is month 6 to 8. Then you want to introduce like products premium line. One thing people forget is you can have a drop model, but you could also have like an evergreen or around the year products that you're selling, but it's also limited, right? So you could have, let's say with my watch brand right now, we could have watches that we're selling, but then still have like one core watch that customers can buy all year round, but it's also in limited pieces. But it will always be available every month of the year. So that is constantly drawing in cash flow, right? And then we could now have like a membership tier, which is people who get to give me feedback on how our watches should be and all of this. But that is also adding money, and it requires no fulfillment, right? 0 fulfillment, more cash flow. Then month 8 to 10, leverage PR and authority to solidify your brand trust. 10 to 8, ambassadors. Month 12, optimize cash flow, reinvest profits, and prepare for potential brand exit or expansion. Easy. 1 year. Systems and processes, it makes it easy for that to be accomplished. So, bottom line keys to success: sell what's selling, keep it lean, proven acquisition, and smart scaling. Does this make sense?
It makes sense, but the aspect of how do we find out what sells?
That's easy. Multiple forums exist. There's Reddit, right? Like you want to find where people are already engaging and providing discussions and feedback about something they are buying, right? If I want to sell something right now in the beauty industry, I'll go to our Beauty Hub on Reddit. People are already providing feedback. If I was looking for something on Huda Cosmetics, I could go in there and be like, just enter Huda Cosmetics and find out where they are slacking, right? Literally, even people go on Reddit to shout out gurus and all of that, like, oh, I want to buy this course, should I buy it, right? So people are already engaging in these conversations. Then also the brand profiles and all of that, like where they exist and all of that. Go find out what people are saying, or go into like the media library, Facebook ad library, search for the ads that these people are already running, go and interact with the ads, right? So all of this, then you can also sign up to their, I think the most intimate way to funnel hack is email. Just sign up to their email list and see what they are doing and how they are doing it. But if someone is spending a lot of money on ads, if you go to an ad library and you see like 160 ad campaign launched in a month, obviously nobody is spending a ton of money on something that isn't working, right? Then with YouTube ads too, VidTower, you can use VidTower to see what ads are running. VidTower also sends ad breakdowns of companies, funnels, and all of that is working. You could sign up for their funnel of the day. You guys should pay me if you're saying this. Funnel of the day or funnel of the month membership, right? So all of that works. Now this is where optimizing Facebook ads comes into play. I hope these people don't come and send us out. It's just 1 minute left. But identify the problem. When you're running ads, right, you want to identify like your CTR, CPM, and add to cart rates to pinpoint issues in your funnel. We explained it earlier, but I'll just brush through it real quick for you. The goal of your ad is to do one thing and one thing only: get the click. That's the job. If it does get the click, you don't need to worry about it. Now, if it gets the click, but you're getting no sales, then it means like your website or landing page is not delivering the experience that people expected when they clicked on it.
Liking the content.
Not liking the content, or they click on the content to go to your website. Right? Because now it is pattern interrupt. You're interrupting their experience on the platform, right? So if they can come from the platform to your own website, but they don't buy, then it's not the ad that is the issue. It is the website that is the issue. So the website, and the example I use with them is, imagine if you are scrolling on Instagram and then boom, like you see an ad that tells you come in for a free consultation for your tooth in a dentist's office. If you go, the ad has done its job. Now, the next thing is the reception and the dentist selling you on recurring packages. Oh, look at the example. I took you to Dr. Diane. Right? So their service sold me on it, but I brought you to the place. Now, if your experience with Dr. Diane wasn't great, you wouldn't have paid for more packages. You know how many packages you've paid for with your osteopathy? So it's the same way. So your ad is literally that. It does that. Then the website delivers the job. That's how you get the sale. Now, if the ad isn't performing well, you want to test as many ways possible. It could be the hook, it could be the body, and it could be the CTA, right? The hook is always very, very crucial. If your hook doesn't do a good job, people won't stop scrolling. If it does a good job and people stop scrolling but they click off, then you need to tweak immediately where they click off. So you could check if people watch for 25%, that means the hook has done a good job, then the body hasn't, right? If people watch for 50%, right, then the body has done a good job, but the CTA hasn't. But if they watch for 75% and they still do not click, then you need to tweak your CTA. Because all of these are data that you find within the ads library, won't you? Right? So now if your CTA is fixed and you get the click, but you don't get the sale, then it's your website. So maybe it doesn't drive enough trust, or people do not see conveyed value of the products that you're expecting. So you just keep tweaking. You could have like multiple A/B tests landing pages, right? Tweak the copy, tweak the checkout experience. Like if you do not have straight checkouts, you could have like Google Pay, Apple Pay, all of this that makes it easy for them to pay. I had someone once DM me and they were like, I don't want to put in my card details into WAP. Can I send an ACH or whatever? I'm like, you are giving me more headache in the process of paying. But I'm like, okay, cool. If that's what you want to say, I don't want to enter my card details. I just don't feel comfortable. Right? So we might be laughing at it, but it's true. Like there are people like that, right? So you have to anticipate different things. But if they have Apple Pay, they don't need to enter anything. They already have their card details on their phone. They just swipe twice, boom, and the purchase goes through, right? So you have to anticipate all of these things when it comes to that, and then optimize the website. I just brushed through the rest. These people will probably charge us for overtime. But upsells and bundles, this helps you increase how much money you make. Retargeting obviously gets you more people. Like if you get 1,000 people on your email list, but only 10 people buy, that means you still have 990 people free that you can just retarget with your email sequence, and then smart scaling. You want to scale ad spend, gradually increasing budgets by 20% every 3 days when you're profitable, right? So if it is profitable, you're spending $100, spend $120. After 3 days, you increase it 150, little by little until you can't spend no more, right? So this is a setup. This is the framework that you use. $50 to $100 a day spread across 5 ad sets. Use UGC style video ads. Now your video ads has to be something that is an ad but doesn't look like an ad. That's the best ad that you can run.
I wouldn't like that's like a challenge, like right now, because I was okay. So I was brainstorming with Ahmad yesterday. So I sent him like 2 different contents from like a competitor. Yeah. The first one was obviously looking like an ad, but I mean they are running it. Yeah. That means people are clicking on it. Yeah. Now the second one, almost the same thing, but to him it doesn't look like an ad. Yeah. So I was not telling him like it's still the same thing, and I'm now thinking I don't want to lock in on that perspective yet. I'm still fluid, but I'm now thinking that maybe I don't know, maybe it doesn't really matter, because I mean if it looks like an ad and they're obviously spending shitload of money to like run it, people are clicking on it. So
now the thing is, the ad that gets you to the market is different from the ad that you use to expand the market. And I'll show you an example with Dr. Squatch. I was going to do a breakdown of this with you guys in the community later on, but I'll just go to...
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar soap you lather up with.
They took a market and expanded into a new market with this ad. Their angle is the soaps that most people are using is feminine. Their own soap is a soap for men, built for men, right? Now this is one angle. But they also have, and as you will see, this has 122 million views. This ad took them from 5 million to 180 million.
Soap you shower with?
To $180 million in revenue in a year. That's not even the only one. Like there's one where they were breaking, like you could have an ad that specifically the end goal is just to go open new markets.
You're not a dish.
Aha, this is it.
You're a man.
Do you see what they did in the first 3 seconds of this video? What did they do?
Good hook.
Pattern interrupt. If you are a woman and you're watching this, what will you do? You click away because they're not targeting you. But it's still, it will crack you up. Like you're not a dish, you're a man, right? They took a dish, broke it. So not only did they grab your attention with visuals, but sensory too, because you heard it, right? So it stops you from whatever you're doing. And then they're taking a jab at the existing competition with this.
Us versus them.
Yeah.
Most name brand bars and body washes you rub on your skin are classified by the FDA as synthetic detergent.
Taking an authority stance. So, see, what they are doing is just bah, right? It's called punch in the gut messaging. They not only just said most of the others that are in the market, but now they took an authority that everybody respects and used it to take a dig at them again.
And then they have the enemy big soap.
Exactly. So
it's not even real soap.
Another thing. Do you see what they are doing? Hook after hook after hook. But each hook leads to the next hook. But this has 175 million views. And see what is there. What's here? As seen in Esquire, Men's Health, GQ, and more. And once more, Dr. Squatch, go to the website. So this alone drove so many sales for them.
Start treating your body to the natural, nourishing, lathery goodness of Dr. Squatch soap.
Are you seeing what they are doing? So like literally everything they are doing. Yeah. So now they've reframed themselves as the best versus the rest. This is shock and awe style of content. Because now everything they've said in the beginning has negated all the others, but that's framed them in the best way possible. So it makes you respect their brand. Because now this guy is smiling.
Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
That smells really good. Smells like my guy's cologne.
When a man wants to look good, who is he trying to look good for? And when women are approving of something that a man wants, what happens?
And every 5 seconds it's a different clip.
So, do you get what I'm saying? So there is an ad that you can make that doesn't look like an ad that still opens a broader market for you while calling out your ideal audience. So if it is approved by FDA and then women approve it and the man is smiling while he's using it, why wouldn't I buy it? Because we all want what everybody wants, right? Prestige, power, status. The things that appeal to men is different from what appeals to women. Men want what looks good. The women, they also use that attractive. Maybe they might be 5 out of 10, but they are attractive at a certain level, right?
Okay.
It smells really good, yeah. Really sexy. Oh, that smells really good.
Now, an attractive man and a woman who is sniffing him out. But do not forget, she's taller than him. So now they are speaking to what? Another subset of men. Do you get it? Yeah. But it's subtle, very, very subtle.
Use it, but like, if a guy smelled like that too, I'd be like, ugh. If my man...
Now, a different demographic. Do you see what they are doing? So one ad is literally expanding different markets for them all at a time. And this doesn't look like an ad. It feels more like they are creating awareness for their brand, but it's still driving sales.
100% of that. Wow.
man was wearing this, I would be all over him.
Natural.
So now we're 36 seconds into the video and everything just keeps, yeah. But if you stumbled on this on YouTube, you wouldn't think, oh, I'm watching an ad. You just think, oh, another YouTube video created. But once they find a winner, they put more money behind you. Because like if you look at the size of their audience versus the size of the views, it's completely different. So if they are getting billions of views on their products, then yeah, they can go crazy with it. If this video initially brought in like 10 million views and those 10 million views converted into like 80 million in sales for them, they can then take 40 million, which literally was earned for free with content, and just go dump it on ads and expand their market. That's how you become a market authority. But you have to, in the beginning, take something that will go out there and just start taking people by the jugular, like, yeah, come by. So you can have content that is an ad that doesn't feel like an ad. And people also want to talk. See the comments. People are talking in the comments. See this? When you find someone in prop hunt, you're not a dish, you're a man, right? So it gets people. See, I had this comment at 4 a.m. and I've never been more disturbed to hear, stop marinating your man meat in the dark. Right? Like, few ads have ever managed to catch my attention, even few have managed to keep it, and almost none have ever made me sat them up on YouTube after seeing them. Congratulations, Dr. Squatch, you've managed all 3. So if the average Joe can even understand that this is marketing done at its finest, then you know that it has done a good job. Look at the top comments. Everything re-emphasizes that this was properly done. So that's what you want to think of from the jump. Like, okay, is this an ad that is to reinforce my authority, or it's to go open a new market for me? So everything has to be very, very calculated. I'm not going to spend a dime on ads when I don't know if I can engineer the success of my ad or not. But that also comes from, if you spent a bit of time developing content, you know, okay, this content will work. So if it works ordinarily, then it will work better as an ad. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
product selection criteria, which I think you need to observe, is if you're selling a product, you need to have at least 2 things, right? Either you can create a subscription to sell with the product, which increases your LTV.
Right.
Or you can find an adjacent product to sell, like a complementary product that you can sell that will still bring in, returning customers. I don't like one night stand products. Like that. I don't want products that will sell once and now I have to. Because see, think about it like this. Cost of acquisition, we're always right. So that means if I acquire, let's say you spend $100 to acquire this customer, that means you can't make anything off of the customer after that initial purchase. I wouldn't sell a product that I can't get a recurring sale within the next 3 months. I want the product that when I sell, I can guarantee that move 3 levers, right? Which is how often, let me just put it here. How often they buy, how much more can they spend with me? 3 things that you have control over: the price of the product, the profit you can make per product, and the profit you can make per customer when it comes to the frequency of their purchase. If you can work on that, then obviously like you're going to always make money. So if I know that, I'm going to spend $100 to acquire this person, but they would be worth at least $1,200 to me over 4 months. Like, why won't I do it?
It's a no-brainer, right?
Because it's not just, okay, how much am I making on the first sale? Who cares how much I make on the first sale if I can't make more money on the customer with the next, sales? I also do not believe that there's a product that you just sell once and you can't sell anything again. I don't believe it. Mm-hmm. There's always components of the product. For example, like if I sell mattresses, will there be a higher frequency of purchase? Not really. But there are other things I can sell with the mattress, right? Like there's the bedding case, right? Like the pillowcase. Right now they've even started making, mouth tape. It's complementary to the bed, right? But the mouth tape is something they will have to buy at least every 30, 60, 90 days. Right? Because it enhances the quality of your sleep. All I have to do is just educate them on, this is actually something you might need or you will need. So that's also something you should think about. Like, if I'm going to sell this thing, what else can I sell with it that will increase the perception of the value that it has to the customer and also increase the experience the customer has with my brand?
Okay, so keeping everything you just listed in mind, right? Let's say, somebody in the community, they're just starting out, they're testing a product, it fits all of this, but they're throwing money at ads, they're testing multiple hooks, multiple creatives, different angles, and it doesn't work. When do you decide to switch products?
I actually did that here. I'm just waiting for this dude to arrive. That's why I haven't gone deep into it.
Right.
First, you have to analyze your CTR, CPM, and add to cart rate to pinpoint issues in your ad funnel. Mm-hmm. The issue most people do is they spend money on this and they're like, it's not yet profitable, let me increase how much money I spend with it. Right. That's the worst thing you can do, right? You need to look at it like, is it my landing page that has issues? Because 3 things are very, very important, right? Your ads has just one job. Is to get the clicks. Right. That's really it. Like the copy and creatives, their only job is not to get the sale. That's what people get wrong. Mm-hmm. The only duty of your ad is to get clicks. If you can get the click, it has done a perfect job. Okay. Now, the next thing is the congruency between your ad with, let me call this. We have to call these people. The thing is, the congruency, because I need more shit, is the congruency between your ad and your website or funnel. If your ad gets the click, the website or funnel has to guide the buyer to make the purchase. That's why I said it, optimize the website. You need to enhance the landing page with trust signals, urgency, and simplified checkout process. We live in a world now where there are so many ways that makes it super easy for you to get the purchase. We use Apple Pay. Right. There's Google Pay, right? Everything, there's Klarna, all these things that will make it easy and a no-brainer for someone to buy from you. has to be on the website, right? If they clicked from the ad, then they were, because do not forget you're interrupting their scroll.
Right.
So if you've successfully interrupted their scroll and you've taken them off of the platform, the next thing is that this has to do the job of getting the sale. It's like someone is watching on Instagram and you say, hey, come in for a tooth consultation or an appointment. And they actually come. If your receptionist can do a good job of making them book an actual appointment that is paid, because remember, the initial one is discovery. The ad got you discovered, right? So if they are now there in person, you have to do a good job at selling them on your clinic service.
Right.
If you can't, then you have a shitty business in place. If the ad does a good job and gets clicks, then the website needs to be tweaked to enhance the experience from the ad. The only reason that you might say, hey, I need to fix the ad is if the ads are getting impressions but no clicks.
But then for you then, what KPIs do you use for your CPC then?
Well, the cost per clicks, I always look at it like how many people am I getting shown to. But first of all, I always look at
Is there like a max amount that you want to go to, or is there like a
CPC under $2? Like run 3 to 5 creatives per ad set, but look for CTR above 2% and CPC under $2.
Okay, these are CBOs or Advantage Plus? Or
Yeah, this is for CBOs. I even created the whole, and then also timed when you decide to vertically scale 20% every 3 days.
it's kind of
But
same KPIs I was using before?
yeah, so I always make sure that I'm nailing down every core aspect, because you have to look at it from a surgical perspective. If the ads are performing but you're not getting the sale, it's not the ad that needs to be shut down, it's the landing page that needs to be tweaked. And then there are multiple things that could also be worked, like exactly, like you need to look at it. Now if they are adding to cart and they are not making the purchase, which I also explained here, now it might be because they do not have trust in what you're promising.
But then,
right?
At what point is, because when I look at the add to cart section,
Yeah.
at what point do they not trust? Because the formula is quite simple when you get to add to cart. It's literally input your billing, shipping, and then the next thing is the payment processor. So at what point is it, do they not believe, or do they no longer trust after the add to cart section?
Well, it could be, I mean, there are multiple factors because we're dealing with humans, but it could be that one, they do not believe the value of the product is worth the price that you're charging, right? That's one.
And they figure this out after they clicked on the actual item and seen the price that they're going to pay.
Yeah, and or they feel like some people make stupid mistakes, which is after someone has added to cart, they now display the cost of shipping.
Yeah.
Where I always say, eat up the cost of shipping within the cost of the product. You've already added it to your margins and everything. And also, if one of the things that I like to do, which is like a very, very crazy play on intelligence of people, will be that I will say expedited shipping is within 5 days.
Yeah, but how's that possible with,
right?
with China?
Of course, now it's possible to even get stuff within 48 hours from China to the USA.
Is it?
Yeah.
Within what?
Within 48 hours from
Really?
China, yeah.
Shipping I was doing was taking like at least 14 days.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's
like
what my
not,
parents were, 7 to 14.
now, yeah. Like even Daniel Dalen's ecom flow,
Yeah.
His
one is quick.
yeah,
Ecom flow,
it's quick.
Yeah.
So like there are different 3PLs now that you could literally use.
Fair enough.
But that's also where you need to consider your margins,
Facts.
right? Because it's 3 things that could eat into your margins: ad costs, logistics, and then delivery. Not even cost of goods. In the beginning, you already know your cost of goods, right? Because you already know, okay, this is how much I'm selling it. You already know how much it costs you. But logistics and then delivery time. Because the delivery time, you could have good logistics, but fucking shitty delivery time, right? So you have to look at all of that. Because if delivery time doesn't match up with what your logistics partners are saying, then customers return the products. So now you lost money on everything, right? So you have to look at all of that. Like you should walk through the process, like what is going on in the mind of your customer when they are trying to make that purchase.
So how do we get access to the private supplier that's 5 days?
Oh yeah, I'm talking to a friend of mine right now. That's one of the things I want to bring into the community. Even Nizar, because Nizar spends like 100K to 150K per day on ads for ecom brands. So he also has like connects that can make this whole experience possible. So it's a lot of things that goes into this, right? But you must understand that they are all complementary. There is no either or. So your ads, your content, like that's why I always say that I don't want you to solely rely on just ads. Because ads, once you turn off your ads, boom, lead flow dries up. And you're not building any assets with just ads. So if you have ads, you have content, cool. Because now with content, you can test so many creatives. You can test so many creatives with your content and then just go, boom, this content works. Let's replicate this. I'm sure this ad that I sent into the group, because everybody was there like, oh, do they sell for adults too? Oh yeah, leverage PR. Yes, it's true. So at a phase in your business, you definitely, because you're trying to legitimize the business, right? You're not making it just a random store. So you always want to have PR. I also have a plan to roll out PR for my watch brand. But matter of fact, so the second YouTube channel that I'm launching, the goal is just to drive traffic to my watch brand. I'll show you. The goal of this channel is nothing other than to blow up my watch brand. Such that every time you search, the first thing that pops up is, oh, this about Phoenix watches, this about Phoenix watches, right? Every video that we make for this second channel, the sole goal is just get more attention on the watch brand. So when you think about it like that, like your content has to have like a direction. When you're planning your channel, your Instagram and all of that, you need to have like a core focus, which is what exactly is this thing doing? What purpose is this serving? Like every piece of content you put out, you need to say, oh, okay, cool. This is the specific plan I have in mind for this. And that way, when people come across your brand, they have, because people have their own notion of you, whether you like it or not. But the more you can control the narrative, the better for you and for your brand. Do you get my point?
Yeah, 100%.
So whatever it is you decide to say, yeah, like that's why PR is also important. Like I have a couple goals in mind, even when it comes to like getting as much PR possible for the brand. If you've watched this to the end, I hope you found value in this. And if you're interested in learning from me, DM me on Instagram at ecom with Abdul. Now go watch this video where I show you how I helped someone make £400,000 in 30 days. So if you found value in this, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel and I'll see you in the next video.